My phone wouldn't stop. When I answered, my father's voice hit like a slap. "Are you mocking us? What is this amount?" My mother's outrage hissed behind him. I stared at my lunch. "What amount?" I said. "Celine sends 4,000 every month," he barked. "You send 50. I am not sending 50 cents. I've been wiring 4,000 on the dot every month. I said so, keeping my voice level. They called me a liar and praised my sister's brilliance, as if I were renting space in their family. Then they hung up. The silence felt like a locked door. I'm Mara, 28, logistics coordinator at a food processing plant. Celine is 5 years younger, born with a face people orbit. Comparison was our home's sport. Her in new dresses and lessons, me in neighbors' hand-me-downs, told to be understanding. When she wanted her own room, I was moved to the living room beneath our grandparents' portraits. My grandfather named me for the violets that opened the week I was born. He said I'd bloom after hard seasons. After college, she was scouted as a model. She called, suddenly noble. "Let's repay Mom and Dad, 4,000 each month together." Absurd against my salary. But they murmured about debts. I agreed, took weekend security shifts at a construction site, and ate cheap to keep the math alive. Today's call revealed the trick. Celine insisted we send under Rainbow, her stage name, shortened to Rain. The bank showed my legal name on a 50-cent test transfer and her alias on the big wires. They decided I was the freeloader. I opened my laptop. I would pause the payments and learn what was true. I took the next day off and met Nina near the river, a cafe with tin chairs and shade. She has the kind of steady gaze that makes numbers behave. I told her everything, the rainbow transfers, the 50-cent test, the call that gutted me. She stirred her tea and said, "Start by assuming you're not at fault, then verify." She made calls over lunch. Within an hour, she confirmed what my stomach already knew. My parents aren't drowning, no loan notices, no collectors. Meanwhile, Celine has been loud about facials and serums, about my sister's bank being open. A friend of Nina's heard the brag from Celine's mouth. Heat crawled up my neck. That evening, Celine rang, breath sharp. "Why did you stop the money? Mom and Dad are panicking." I paused to audit. I said, "Where is it going?" "To family," she snapped. "Don't be selfish." "Then open the books." She hung up. 2 days later, my parents came to my door. They demanded 2 missed months and an apology. Not a word about accusing me. When I asked about the debt, my father waved it off. "Your grandfather's inheritance covered tuition," he said. My mother added, "We just need a little extra. Your father's salary isn't enough for life." Life meant handbags, weekend gambling, and Celine's agency fees. I had proof. Screenshots and messages Nina assembled like a case file. I stood in my doorway and said, "No more. Get jobs. Celine, take regular work." My father's eyes hardened. "Talk like that again and we'll use your grandfather's savings." "The ones he left for me," I said. "Do what you want. I'm done." I locked the door with shaking hands, and the lock finally sounded like mine. 2 months later, the phone began again. Celine, frantic. She'd chased a new agency promising film roles, and my parents fronted fees. Then the contacts vanished. When collectors started circling, they came to my door, smaller than I remembered. "Just a loan," my mother said. "You're doing well." "I'm not your bank," I said. "File a report, speak to a counselor." A man in a dark jacket asked if we were family. I said, "No," and closed the door on all 3. The sound shook me, but the ground held. Work steadied me. I sat for the small business consultant exam I'd studied at night during those security shifts. I passed, transferred departments, and took a lead role Nina found. The raise didn't feel like rescue, it felt like oxygen. Weeks later, I walked past the construction site where I'd once flagged traffic and saw my father in a hard hat. The foreman joked to a coworker, "The last young woman here worked weekends to support her parents. I'd like to meet parents who let that happen." My father looked away. I kept walking. Spring came blue. At Nina's seaside wedding, vows lifted like sails. She introduced me to her friend Nicholas, Nick, an architect smiling. We talked about buildings that breathe, about unlearning old rooms. After, he asked me to dinner. I said yes because yes is a door. I send my grandfather a quiet prayer. I bloomed. The circle of who I belong to is small and chosen, and I am finally inside it.